Hey everybody, welcome back to TomGirl. It's Tuesday and we are on episode 51 and I have actor Kristen Ariza. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
The buzz. All right, song to get you fired up.
Love that song. Thank you.
Yeah, it's for you. Hey Kristen, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, you have done, you've been in so many shows. I mean, just to name a few, American Horror Story, Parks and Rec, Scorpion, NCIS, NCSLA, Lie to Me, and Friends.
Yes.
So I went way back. I'm like, oh, I got to talk about that too. But yeah, I mean, that's an incredible resume of all the things you've done.
Thank
you know.
you. Well, yeah, I've been doing this for a little while now, but it's been good. It's been good. I moved out here. I moved to Los Angeles a while ago, almost 15 years ago, from New York. I'm originally from Florida, but got my degree in theater and traveled around a little bit, and then now I'm here.
Tell me about, you said you had your first where you kind of got discovered, or an audition that then led you to go to school for acting.
Okay, that's easy. It was the first job I ever booked. It's called The Tomorrow People. And so unbeknownst to me, my sister, my oldest sister, she and her husband owned a modeling and talent agency. I've never modeled. I don't do those things. And they submitted my senior picture. And at the time, like senior photos, you just know you're looking more glam than you are. Even now, you don't look like you're a kid. So, but they wanted to see me for this audition. I went in not knowing what I was doing, but got a call back. I was like, whoa, what's this all about? Booked it. It was a pilot that we shot in Florida. And The Tomorrow People is a series. The original series was done in London in like the 70s. And it's very campy, very like sci-fi, like Doctor Who meets, I don't even know what, Quantum Leap or something. And then after the pilot, they shopped it around, and then they recast a few of the kids, and not me. They wanted me, and what would have been the start of my freshman year of college, I was flown out to London to shoot this series. And that was my intro, and it was from being on set going, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First thing you booked, that's
fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah.
What was your role on that show?
My character's name was Lisa, and everyone would say, teleport, Lisa, teleport, because it was still a British show, and there was some Brit characters and some Aussies and Canadian actors, and it was about these kids, and we all had these powers, and we had the power of teleportation, but you didn't know how to hone it until you were like traumatized, like a traumatic event was happening, and then all of a sudden and it was really kitschy, sci-fi, I don't even know what, like, they were doing animated stuff, around you, and you would teleport, and the mothership was somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, but because I didn't know how to teleport yet, I would land in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, which is those days of filming were quite interesting. But yeah, that's
Were
what
you just
the show,
in big water? How was that shot?
Oh, it was freezing. It was totally freezing. We were shooting in, I want to say like September, October, in London, in and around, and it was so cold, and I almost got hypothermia. I was that cold. It was exciting, but like near-death experiences on set your first time working.
Right.
A lot.
Well, at least it didn't scare you away. I mean, you got the bug and you kept going.
Completely did.
Yeah.
It completely just made me declare my major. I had to audition when I got to Florida State, which is where I went and got my degree in theater, and loved it. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
So tell me about getting your start out here in LA.
Whole different ball game. Whole different ball game, everyone. Because after college, I went to Atlanta. I worked in the Alliance Theater, which is the largest theater in the Southeast, and got my equity card, which is the union that governs the stage. And so from there, I worked around, and I lived in New York for a while, completely doing auditions for Broadway and off-Broadway and everything like that. And then when I got my SAG card from the work that I'd done in New York, that's when I finally moved out here. So out here, it's a different beast, It's actually interesting. It's a little slower than it is in New York. The pace is a little slower.
As far as how much?
Yeah.
Like, how many you're
Yeah, as far as like the turnaround and just everyone's in general pace, you know? And so I came out here a few times actually before officially moving because I think I was more terrified of Los Angeles than I was of New York, truth be told. And, but I happen to have some good, I guess some good referrals for people, you know, to different managers and stuff like that. And so when I came out, I had that at least going for me. I had representation, but it's still, it's a new place and you're trying to get new people to see you and recognize you. And so it was, I don't even know if they're done that much anymore, but a lot of workshops and stuff like that because, you know, you're new and you just want casting directors and people to know you and know that you're talented, which actually it was really good. It was a good experience because you're, you know, surrounded by other people that you don't know and you're essentially auditioning. So it was cool. It was great. And still, none of it has, you know, kept me away. They haven't thrown me out yet.
Yeah, I just like when it. Were there any moments where, you know, since LA can be a tough town, where, you know, it was just difficult, or maybe you thought about going back or not doing
my first day out here, I drove cross country with a friend. 10 days. We did a proper road trip. That's the adventurous side of me. We did a proper road trip. Did everything from like spelunking in Colorado to, I don't even know, we went up on a helicopter ride over the Grand Canyon. But I got here and, you know, I'm from Florida. I'm used to warm weather. I'm used to a little bit of rain, but you're told it never rains in Southern California. The first day I moved here, it rained profusely. And I was in tears thinking, what have I done? Why have I left New York City? What have I done? It takes a minute to get used to, I think, Los Angeles. It's completely different. Not that the people aren't friendly, because people are awesome out here, but I think the difference for me, for New York, everyone is walking around. There's just a bigger sense of community, and everyone is trapped in their cars here, and everyone's going from point A to point B, and there's no real interaction, and you don't have like your one place that you go to get a bagel, or your one place, you know, and so it just seemed very foreign, you know, and unfamiliar. It takes a little while.
Yeah, I know out here and other places, the New Yorkers always kind of get a bad rap, where people talk about, oh, they're rude. But I feel the same every time I've gone to New York. I've loved it because I think you are out on the street together and they're just like interacting. And I've always had like great interactions and met some really great people.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
I think, I definitely feel that. And like I said, I think the people are great out here. They're just maybe doing other things. They're not like walking the streets, that's for sure. People still will look at you crazy if you're out for a walk. It's like, is she homeless? Does she have a car? What's happening?
Yeah. It's true. Gotta be in our cars.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start talking about some of your early work. So when things were starting to click, and good projects or fun projects that are some of your favorites that you got to work on.
Definitely. My resume is varied. Friends, you had mentioned that, and that's still like a big highlight. It was really fun.
Receptionist. Is that you were a receptionist?
So it's the episode. It was titled. What was the episode? It was called The One Where Monica Sings. Like all of their episodes were called The One Where Someone Does Something. So this one was The One Where Monica Sings. And if you guys are Friends fans, it was where Monica wore this dress. I want to say she was either singing karaoke or something, but she didn't realize in the light, the dress, you could see straight through it. But in my episode, Joey, Matt LeBlanc, who's fantastic, he was like getting his eyebrows waxed or something like that. So I was the receptionist in the salon, you know, and he comes in really pensive and he's like, you know, I want to get my eyebrows done. And he was so funny. And the great thing about that show and that experience, it felt a lot like theater to me, because you rehearse and then you tape in front of the live studio audience, which was awesome. And everyone on that show was great. David Schwimmer and we had to be hushed several times by the director because we were just laughing uncontrollably about, I don't even know what at this point, but it was just a fun time and everyone was really gracious and great. And I want to say that was like maybe the second to last season. I can't really remember, but it was like towards the end of the run of the show and it was just great. And I remember that day on set, I saw Brad Pitt.
Well, that's a fantastic day.
It was fun. It was a good time.
What have been some of your other like favorite roles or characters to play or moments?
I quite enjoyed working on NCIS, the original. I worked on both the Los Angeles and NCIS original.
We have your picture there with Mark Harmon.
Best man in this town, like one of the nicest people to work with ever. Truly just a gem of a human being. And when you're on set a lot and when you've worked a bunch on shows, you know, you've got your number one on the call sheet, and he is a perfect example of a great number one. Because I've been on, and I won't gossip about this, but I've been on some shows where you're like, ooh, there's tension on this set.
Yeah.
This is not fun. And he creates a really great environment. And I like that show so much. And doing that was fun because I was the villain. And I was cast, I remember the callback and I remember booking it. They didn't want someone some people look mean and look evil. And I don't. No. I know how I look. I don't look mean.
I wouldn't say that at all.
I'm happy about that. So the twist of me pulling out the gun at the end, spoilers, I mean, I hope everyone's seen it. It's been years. But me pulling out the pistol at the end and being, you know, the killer, that was a fun twist for me to play too. Because I don't get to play that much.
Yeah.
And so that's always fun to just, you know, veer and play something completely off character. I like that.
How do you go about preparing for your roles?
Ooh, God, you know what? It doesn't really change that much. I like to read a lot. I read and read and read the script. I don't make any choices yet. I just keep reading the material, reading the script, because you can get so much from what is said about you by other characters rather than what you put onto, you know. I feel like sometimes actors, we do this and it's to our fault. We make a decision so quickly and we stick to it instead of being loose and being a little more malleable and just seeing what other possibilities are there. And so I like to just kind of read it over. I mean, natural instincts happen and you might see something, but I like to just keep going over it because I think the beauty of what we do is we're detectives. You know, we truly are. We're detectives and we keep digging to find the truth of a character and to find the honesty of something, and to be able to have that ability to portray it is the beauty of what we do. And so I think we'd be doing it a disservice if you just automatically land on something just because it says perhaps in the breakdown or the description, you know, she's sassy or she's, you know, bitchy or whatever the terms, you know, that they might use. There's always something deeper. So that's what I like to do. That's my method is I just kind of read without a pen in hand, without a highlighter. I don't really, you know, the lines at that stage aren't important. It's really just about getting the essence of the character down.
Do you like the audition process? Do you get nervous? Do you just embrace it? How do you feel about that?
I like it. I enjoy it. You know, it's an opportunity to go to work every time. Every audition is, you know, you're not getting paid, unfortunately, but it is, you know, you're going to work and you're doing what you do. And so I dig doing auditions because everyone, it's like, all right, let's just see. And let's just, you know, because every person is different. Everyone's going to bring something different to the table. That part of it's out of your control. So the only thing that I have control over is, you know, what I bring to the room. And they're either going to dig it or they're not. That's cool. But I want to just do my part and do something, you know, that I walk out of the room feeling proud of.
Something people always say, you know, casting directors is make a choice. So how do you go about? Because sometimes I think that's easier said than done. What are your tricks
especially without direction, you know, because you could make a choice and it's completely
not what they want.
Yeah, it's completely. It's like, okay, you did that, all right. I don't know. You go back. I think your instincts and your gut have to really like speak to you, and I don't ever want to make a choice just like, oh, I don't think anyone else is going to do this. I'm just going to throw a wrench in it and just do something completely off the wall because I want it to still be genuine. But I think I don't know. I feel like any choice you make is going to be strong if you have conviction about it, about what the role you're playing and how you're doing it. Then you're golden, honestly. And it's so much of it is out of your grasp, and that truly is like what any aspiring actor should know. It's just out of your control, so you can't take all of this so much to heart, because there are literally hundreds of thousands of actors, but there's also hundreds of thousands of roles. And I think too often we get so hung up on, oh my God, I really want this one, I want to play this one. And there are some that hurt, that you're like, dang it, I really, that one would have been good. But you can't get them all. You can't. Yeah. There's only one role. There are lots of people. So you get the next one.
Is there one that you, in particular, you were like, oh man, I really wanted that one?
Well, I didn't have an opportunity to audition for it. It was already gone. I'm a very big sci-fi fan. I love science fiction. And so when they were remaking Star Trek, I was like, oh. And when I knew that the captain was going to be a Black woman, I was like, ugh. Then I went to Sonequa, who is coming off The Walking Dead. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Her turn, you get the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But, I mean, you have three shows right now in play. So let's first start about Startup, because you have a season 3 that's coming out in November.
Yes. So Startup is really cool. We shoot this down in Puerto Rico. The backdrop of the show is Miami. And it's about these 3 characters who come together to form a startup. But initially they get the money from some shady individuals, one of the shady individuals being my husband, played by the fabulous Eddie Gathegi. And we are Haitian American, and he's the second in command of a Haitian gang. So we do some shady stuff. And Adam Brody is in our show, and Amara Marrero, and Martin Freeman. And it's a fun ride. It is dark. A lot of people are like, Startup, is that fun? Is it funny? No, it's an hour-long dark drama. But it's good. And I honestly think this season 3, is our best season. It is, we get just more into these characters and what makes them tick. And it's so fun to shoot. First off, shooting in Puerto Rico is fantastic, and I'm so happy to be down there, and I'm glad we didn't move locations. But it's just such a fun, gritty show. And this role in particular, to play someone like that, that's also another role that isn't, my resume isn't littered with, the wives of drug dealers. Right. I would say that's not really that much on my resume. But again, it's just, this is what you do, and this is what I love doing, like to be able to get in there and get into a character, because at the bottom of this, my character Tam, she's a mother of 2. She's married. She really is concerned about, her home, her husband, and keeping like status quo and not rocking the boat. So I can get into that.
Because it was funny, because when I was doing the research, I thought it was going to be a comedy or something as well. And then I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, this wasn't what I was thinking.
No.
So since that was a little bit different for you, what was that audition process like?
That audition came in, it was like Christmas time. And it was just before I'd gone away for the holidays. And I remember getting it. And just based on the description, it said, Haitian American, wife of second in command of a, gang. And these scenes that I had were with my husband, but they were really like powerful, good scene, like strong. She's not this character, Tamar. She is not a wimp. She is, she knows how to hold her own, and she's not afraid to speak her piece. And so I went in there with an accent, with a Haitian accent. My family, I have family down in the islands. My dad is from Turks and Caicos. So it's close to Haiti. And then there are a lot of Haitian immigrants in Turks and Caicos. So I know that accent very well. And so I went in there with that. And then when I got back after the holidays, it was a late callback, like literally day of. And so, and I remember it was raining again. And I said, okay, cool. I'm going to book this. It's just, and I went in and there was, producer session. And I remember going and asking, just in my natural voice, I said, okay, for the audition, I did this accent. Is that what you guys want? And they're like, no. Actually, they were born in Miami. I'm from Orlando. I go, okay, close, great. Yeah. They were born in Miami. There is no accent. So just, your natural voice. We loved everything you did, and I just went for it. And they redirected a few times in the room, and it was fun. It's funny because you never can tell. Sometimes those sparks, and you feel like someone's jiving with you, and you feel really good, and then you don't hear anything. But I was really thankful. It took about a week or so after, and then I got the call from my agents that I got it, and I was so excited. It's just great fun to be able to really bring a character to life, especially from season 1, episode 1. Of something, which is great.
And now on your 3rd year.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, it's different. I record on a couple different shows too, and so it's different. It's a different experience to pop in, and out as a character versus you're in this.
You're there.
Yeah, you're there.
What would you like to see? Do you know all of what your characters? What is going to happen with your character for season 3?
I do.
You do. Okay. I was going to ask what you would like to have happen, but
I can't say much.
Right.
I can't say much about where things are going. But it's a good ride. I will say that, especially if there's fans who've watched seasons 1 and 2, and especially where we left my character off, or we left the Dacey family, there's a lot of big changes. A lot of big changes. In a good way.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a good one, folks.
It is. I'm excited. It comes out in November. We don't have the exact air dates yet, but yeah. And I've already seen a few little clips and stuff, and I'm excited.
Yes. You said I don't know if you put it up there yet, but we did have a picture of you doing some ADR sessions and things for the show.
Yeah. So just last week, ADR, for if anyone doesn't know, it's called additional dubbing required, and it's when you need to go back in the studio to just lay down what you had recorded on camera, because either something was a little off with the sound or just something didn't sound quite right. So that's what I did, and it's great because you get a sneak peek at some scenes. So I was able to see, I think we did work on 3 or 4 different episodes, which is cool. And another, I will say this too, this is another cool thing about startup. Cool, challenging, everything, adjective you want to throw in. So we shoot we block shoot. So we shoot all over. And we're 10 episodes per season, but unlike episodic television where you're just shooting episode 1 week and then you move to 2 and so on and so forth and sequential, our show, I would arrive and we'd be shooting a bit of episode 10 and then literally 2 or 3 hours later go back and we're shooting a little bit of episode 2. Wow. So it's a little crazy making character wise because you have to keep all of this, keep track of it all. You have to kind of be organized as an actor, portraying this character, because a lot of times it's like, wait, what do I know? What does my character know? Do I already know this? Oh no, okay,
Yeah.
So, but it's that's how we shoot, and it's cool, but it is a challenge.
Oh yeah, I bet so. All right. Well, and you also have The Fosters.
Yes, which ended. There's a spinoff now, Good Trouble, which they're shooting now, but that was so fun. You asked me earlier, what one of my highlights. I think the whole experience of working on The Fosters, mainly because of the fans. The fans of that show are so genuine, loyal, and just to hear some of the personal things that have been sent to me, and then I follow all of the lead actors on the show and the creators, and just to hear these stories of people coming out to their families because of the show, or how an episode allowed for a conversation to happen in a family. It's so beautiful. That show, more than any that I've worked on, has made me cry so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just beautiful. The whole message of that show. I really enjoyed it. And you know, Sherry Som, Terry Polo are outstanding human beings and made the show super fun and on set a lot of fun. Just great. That's good.
Just a great experience. Oh, that's awesome. And then you also have Bosch. So 3 very different types of shows here.
This is like the dream of an actor, truly, you know, to be able to hop around and work and just keep doing different things. So Bosch, I play an investigative reporter and named Laura Cook. And because Bosch follows the books very closely and that whole series of novels, and that has its own fan base, you know, and it's gritty. And what I love about that show takes place all in Los Angeles, and the city of Los Angeles very much is a character in the show. And so my first day of shooting, we shot downtown at an area called Angel's Flight, which I'd never even seen before. I'd seen it, but it wasn't working. And the first day that we were shooting, that was the first day it reopened. And look it up, guys, if you've never heard of Angel's Flight. It's beautiful. It's like this moving staircase, you know, that they shut down. Unfortunately, shut it down a long time ago. I believe there was just an accident or something happened on it. But yeah, that's what I love about Bosch. It's gritty. You know, you got just your lead character, Harry Bosch, that, you know, he's got his own demons and stuff, but I think most about that show is that it utilizes Los Angeles in a way that you can really see so much of different parts that you would never have really noticed.
Does it inspire you too to get out and explore it more?
Yeah.
There's so many great areas. I think about that all the time. I guess you get so stuck out here a lot of time in your same little neighborhood or area.
Absolutely. Everyone is in there like trapped in a 3-mile radius, and you don't leave.
It's so true. It's so true. Like, I was so happy when my niece started visiting me for her spring breaks, because it was like, oh, I actually go do and like walk to the Hollywood sign, which I had never done before.
Oh my
like all these
gosh,
kinds of things, you know, get you out there. Yeah, that's great. Well, let's talk a little bit about, actually, before we jump to that, I want to talk about, you also just did VO you narrated a novel.
Yes.
So how was that experience?
Interesting. I would do it again. It was my first audiobook. It was something that was on my list of things that I wanted to do. It's challenging. You know, you're your only instrument. You're using your voice the whole time, and I think that was like a 350-page book, 250, 350, I can't remember. And so you're there all week, and you have time blocked off, and it's just you and a producer. The cool thing that I liked so much about it, because I'm an actor through and through. So I'm voicing every character. There were 5 main characters, but in total, I want to say there's probably over 20 characters in the book that you have to give voice to. Men, women, children. And I would find myself sitting there, you know, and you got the mic. And especially I remember this for, I had to play the mom. The lead character, she's a young girl. She's a girl in her, you know, 20s in college. And when I would play her mom, I'd have to go, hold on. You know, and get into character, because she was a smoker and she just had a different voice that I had to physically like get into, because just me sitting upright and talking, it wasn't cutting it. I was like, no, okay. Yeah. I had to become this woman. So I dug that very much. But yeah, different experience. Completely.
So did you picked out voices for each of those characters? And
they give you the script. You have to, you know, they give you the whole book, copy of it, and I marked that up, like, you know, all over the place. You have to circle words that you might not, you know how to pronounce. You have to just do everything. And you have a producer in the room that'll stop. But after time, this is why it also gets so challenging. The word "the," you're like, is it "the"? Is that how you say that? Just simple words. You're like, this doesn't sound right. You can't even, because your mind, after a while, you can't even see straight. You're looking at a page, and your energy you have to stay up for it. But after a while, your tongue is so thick and so tired. You're like, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. So it's a challenge of stamina, like, you know, of maintaining your stamina for over the course of a week, you know?
Yeah. And how long was each day?
Each day, we would start at 10. I would be out of there by like around 4:30. So it's a pretty good day to just be talking, and you're drinking tons of water and tons of tea the whole time. Like as much as you can.
Fun. So would you want to get into more voiceover? Like
Always.
animation?
I've done a few like commercial voiceover things, and I think everything that you do, you know, if you're an actor, you're an actor, and you if you have the opportunity, go for it, because it will always, they're always a unique challenge to do. Like commercial acting, which I do a lot of as well, is completely different from voiceover and, you know, from episodic stuff. It's all different, but I love it all.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's get into the little, for people listening out there who want to have a career like you do, some tips, some advice, suggestions you have from them, maybe everything from training to books or any suggestions that you have.
I do. I have a couple, like, because I've been asked before, how do you do this? I want to start, you know, everyone says you're funny or you should do this. My first thing would be get in classes, like get into several classes. Because this profession of acting is so welcoming. It's unlike anything else. You've got people every day that were formerly lawyers. They're like, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be an actor. You know, or I used to be a surgeon. I'm going to be an actor. It's crazy, but it's true. And we welcome everyone. We're like, sure, you just did that. We don't care. But I think similarly to any other profession, I think this needs to be given the weight that it deserves as well. Because I would never, just because I like to cook, go walk into a restaurant and go behind in the kitchen and be like, you know what? I'm gonna throw down back here for a little bit because this seems fun. You know, you wouldn't ever tell someone who's tall, you should join the NBA just because you're tall. So you have to practice at anything you do. I think this is no different. And it's so not just about picking up pages and reading words. There is a method to this madness. And I think when people learn that and appreciate all the aspects of it, that's when you start to really get good at this. Because it's not just about the booking of jobs. You will certainly not book as many as you would like to, or hopefully as many as you audition for. It's just not possible. But so I guess my first bit of advice is that, like, get into some classes, surround yourself with other people who do this and who inspire you, and then also balance that out with not doing anything that's acting wise. Balance it out with something that you just enjoy doing that has nothing to do with this business and nothing to do with acting, and it's just something that you enjoy doing, because inevitably that might come into play in this world. It usually does, but you just have to be well-rounded. But yeah, I think that's my first bit of advice. Just like get into some classes and see if you really like it too, because it might be something that you enjoyed doing as a kid, but then it's not just about acting. There's a business side to this. It's as with everything, and that side's not the coolest. What are some of the other business like skills or, you know, tools that you suggest people need to have? Gosh, business skills. Ooh, like marketing. Definitely marketing, advertising. And I don't mean necessarily like having 1 billion followers on you know, Instagram or Twitter or something like that. I think that's a misconception as well, that people think that people are just being hired because, oh, they have certain amount of followers. But you could have all of that. You may get hired once, but if you get on set or something and you don't know what you're doing, that's the last time you'll be hired. So again, fall back on training. You have to know what you're doing. Get the followers, hopefully, you know, by good means, not like you're buying a bunch of followers, I guess. But know that it all takes time too. I think we always want it so fast, and I understand that too. But this isn't like a 6-day journey or 6-week journey, you know? It really is about the climb. It really is, you know, about the getting there. And to get there, you have to try and fail and do all of that. And it makes the getting there sweet, so much sweeter. Failure is such a huge part of it, the no and the rejection. How do you get through the no's and those down times? Tears and lots of alcohol. No. No, I'm kidding. Somewhat. No. You have a good community too. I think a good community of people and support helps a lot in anything. Because there will be some that you just want just because it would be fun. And they might not go your way. So you get through it. I think the more you do this, the more you're able to just walk away from it. Because truly, I say this to again, those aspiring, a key thing is to know how to just walk away. Like, you do what you do in the room, you audition or put yourself on tape, because a lot of that's happening now. Send your tape away or leave the room, thank you, and go on about your day. And that's how you get better at the no's, or not hearing a word, not even a no.
Yeah.
Just not hearing anything. And I think you're able to live your life. You got to just live your life. I think that helps. I hope.
Awesome. Great tips. Well, speaking of living your life, one of the things we like to talk about here is adventures. And you've been on some amazing adventures. First, you just said you did a 10-day road trip to come out here.
Well, that was years ago. Road trip. I did. So, yeah, we can talk about so many things. So you tell me.
You pick some of your your favorites that you love.
Well, the road trip was exciting because I'm from Florida, which is flat. I want to say the highest point of elevation in Florida is like 300 and some odd feet. It could be 400, but it's flat. So the road trip out here was outstanding because we did everything. And we just took our time and we're like, let's just see the sights. I went with a friend who is from London. He's like, I've never seen your country, and let's go. But most recently, we just got back a week and a half ago. For 3.5 weeks, we were in London, Scotland, and Ireland, and driving around just everywhere to see anything we possibly could. And kind of it was not the most planned trip. Like, we definitely weren't regimented. We're like, oh yeah, we should hit this, we should see this, which is kind of like how I like to roll. A trip should be like that. A vacation, sit still. Go to a beach and just sit. But a trip, do a trip. So we went hiking. And they were having at the time the best weather that they've had in Europe and Scotland for like almost 100 years. There was no rain.
Wow.
They were missing the rain in Ireland, especially. Everyone was they were apologizing because their countryside wasn't as green as it normally is. It was still so beautiful. But yeah, I'm trying to think of some other really good adventures. I don't even know. I run marathons.
Oh yeah,
that's an adventure.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. You do marathons and half marathons.
Yes.
Yeah. Which ones have you done? What cities?
My first one was the Walt Disney World Marathon in Florida, and that was fun. I was injured. I shouldn't have run it, but I did because I have to finish these things. And it was fun. I will say, I want to say it was around mile 18 or 19. I had my headphones in, and so I'm like plugging along. I was running this with my sister. And at some point, someone's saying something to me while holding out a cup. I'm like, I'm not really hearing it. I take a sip thinking it's water. I chug it. It's beer. And then I spit it out. And so the rest of this run, I have the smell of beer all over my shirt. Not fun. And then I did the Los Angeles Marathon. And that was a beautiful one. It was they run it from Dodger Stadium to Santa Monica Pier. And that was great because I shaved off like 45 minutes off my time.
Oh, wow.
Because I really trained harder. I wasn't injured, I think was the main key thing.
Yeah.
And that was good fun. I like to, a lot of people don't like running, but I think it's fun.
Yeah. Does it clear your mind? Or
it really does. You have to get past like the 2 or 3 mile mark, really the 3 mile mark, and then you get into like a better zone. I think the first couple miles, you're like, why am I doing this? Everyone is like, why have I put on my sneakers? What am I doing? And then you get past that and you're like, oh yeah, things are starting to loosen up and things feel good. So yeah, I like that. What other adventures?
I think I have a couple pictures. Where was this one?
Oh, that was at a castle. I want to say it's called Culzean Castle in Scotland. Yeah, that we were just exploring ruins and castles, of which there are so many. Like some you just drive by, you're like, look over there. Yeah, we got to just keep going. We got to go. But yeah, that was Culzean Castle. It was a beautiful castle.
Do I have another one that,
Oh, that's the goal. It's called Kilmainham Goal. It's a prison that's now been, you can visit it. And this was just last week or week and a half ago. And on that day, would have been Nelson Mandela's 100th birthday. And we happened to go there on that day. But really crazy to hear about, and this was in Ireland. And so to hear about the troubles and the uprising that was happening there. I think it's so fascinating to just go on trips and hear about other countries and to explore. You really get an appreciation for where you're from, what you have. But it's just beautiful and remarkable to see. So that's what that was. It's a beautiful place too. I mean, to be a prison.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I wouldn't have liked to have stayed there then.
I wouldn't have guessed that was a prison.
Right?
Like, yeah, when I pulled it.
No, it's cool. What other adventures?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, just even when we shoot on location in Puerto Rico, that's a crazy adventure. Puerto Rico is gorgeous. Like, the topography can be so different from one side of the island to the next. They have a gorgeous rainforest, and then they have parts of it that are so tropical and dense, and they have like coffee fields, and then, obviously the ocean. It was just cool. I biked around everywhere, every part of that island. I love it.
I think we have one other picture, another sports picture, a young one of you. So it looks like you were a little hooper too.
Oh, yes. Back in the day, my 23, my Jordan number.
Yeah.
Yes, I used to play basketball. And I'm left-handed. So at the time it was good. I stopped playing because, and I'm not short. I'm 5'7", but by comparison, once I started really realizing that there are a lot of girls that are a lot taller than me playing basketball, I was like, I'm out. I'm good.
This was a post for you, and you also mentioned that you have a cousin who played at UCLA. We talked about this.
Trevor Ariza, all the Bruins fans, and now I hope Houston Rockets fans. He did play for the Lakers. He did help bring the Lakers a championship ring. That was the year that he was here. And now he's been in Houston for a while. They didn't fare as well, unfortunately, this playoff season. I was kind of bummed. But
next year.
Next year. But yeah, he's my family.
I was telling her it was a small world because back my old job when I first got out here was shooting the camera for the UCLA men's basketball team. So I was sitting under the basket, recording their games. It would go up on the big screen, and he was, player there, and always one of my favorites. So I was like, that's what a small little world that was. But so that's great.
Yeah, he's a great player. Yeah. Good guy too.
Well, before we wrap up, anything like what's next for you? We kind of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, what's next is, keep your eyes out for Startup. That will air in November. I think maybe the mid-November, but I don't know officially the dates. What else? I'm on social media.
Where can they follow you at?
You can follow me at Kristen Ariza on Instagram, and then Chris, the number 10 Ariza on Twitter. And I'm sure I know I'm going to have stuff coming up. Just right now, I've got a couple commercials that are running. So if you see my face.
What are your commercials?
I'm told there's a Walgreens spot that's running right now. And then there is a Farmers Insurance with J.K. Rowling. I'm J.K. Simmons, not Rowling. Okay. That'd be Harry Potter. J.K. Simmons. And there might be something else. I can't recall. But that's,
we'll keep our eyes out.
I'm on your TV.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you're absolutely fabulous, and I'm just so happy for all your success, and I can't wait for the new season and just to keep following you, and I hope you much, much, much more success.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
great to be here.
All right, guys, that's it for this week. We'll see you here next week. We have Courtney Hope from The Bold and the Beautiful, so we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.